Next month marks the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, which brought the end to 30 years of violent conflict in Northern Ireland that came to be known as the Troubles. President Biden announced this week that he will travel to Northern Ireland to mark the anniversary after receiving a formal invitation from the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak.
I look forward to our conversations and also, importantly, to invite you to Northern Ireland, which hopefully you will be able to do until we can commemorate the anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement. I know it's something that's very special and personal to you. We'd love to have you over.
It is, but it's worrisome. 25 years. Seems like yesterday. Seems like yesterday. But anyway, thank you.
Are you going to Northern Ireland?
It's my intention to go to Northern Ireland and to the Republic.
Today, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that he spoke with the UK's Prime Minister and had a good conversation, quote, a good conversation with Great Britain Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. I informed him of the situation at the front, Bakhmut's defense, exchanged views on recent international events. As always, we have concrete results in increasing defense and economic support for Ukraine. Appreciate Great Britain's unwavering position. And joining us now is David Lammy. He is the British shadow Foreign Secretary, as they say. He is a member of the British Labour Party, and he represents a district of London in the Parliament. Thank you very much to join us here in Washington. This is great to see you.
Great to be here. Thank you so much.
I want to begin on that last point that President Zelensky referred to Great Britain's unwavering position. Is the British Parliament unwavering on this? Is there basically unanimous agreement in the Parliament about supporting Ukraine?
I think it was hugely important that when President Zelensky came to Parliament last month, that there was bipartisan, cross-party support. It reflects the country, and I think it's got something to do with our history, the position that we took in the Second World War, particularly. Britain is a country that's not been invaded since 1066. We feel very closely related to the Baltic nations, to the threat that we're now seeing from Vladimir Putin, and that is indivisible right across the parliamentary system.
Yeah, I mean, you have the experience in your country of having survived, with the United States' help, a similar threat in the 1940s and World War II. You know, and in this country, there's this kind of general public discussion notion that you can't use World War II as an example of anything because you're using Hitler as the example. And, of course, Hitler is incomparable, can't be compared to anyone else. But what Vladimir Putin is doing is the 21st century version of what Hitler aspired to do and did.
I think there are two aspects to this. The first is the great story of the 20th century is how so many people who at the beginning of that century had no rights at all, working people, black and brown people, women, LGBTQ communities, by the end of the 20th century, in the beginning of this one, have rights. And all of that is under threat where freedom is taken for granted. And so we must stand up to imperialism. We must stand up to a bully and a tyrant that says that he can take another country's sovereignty and interrupt their territorial integrity. I think that the United States and the UK understand this well, and it's hugely important that we stand behind the people of Ukraine in this courageous and valiant fight. They've got to win.
As we sit here on the eve of St. Patrick's Day here in the United States, it comes as no surprise that Joe Biden accepts invitations to go to Northern Ireland and to Ireland, as he did from your Prime Minister, accept that invitation so readily. What would you like the President to be thinking about in Northern Ireland, especially with its complex, Northern Ireland's complex position within what is left of this Brexit framework?
Well, look, I think this has been a challenging time because the Good Friday Agreement, which was a huge legacy, really, of Tony Blair and Bill Clinton, lots of effort, a very important progressive moment, but an important moment for peace after so many years of troubles in the island of Ireland. And I think that, in a sense, now that it looks like that's passed because of the Windsor Framework and the deal that's been struck, I think that for Joe Biden to go and to be alongside a British Prime Minister and all of the parties in Northern Ireland, and to see a return to Stormont, a return to governance in Northern Ireland particularly, but of course also to visit Ireland as he will because of his historic relationship, will be very, very important indeed. It reminds people of the huge breakthrough that came about for peace, and to hold on to that ideal in what has been a challenging few years in Northern Ireland particularly.
I know you've been visiting with members of Congress here in Washington. Is it your impression that it is more difficult to be in the minority party in the British Parliament, as you are in the Labour Party, than it is to be in the minority party in the halls of Congress?
You know, I've been in Parliament now for 23 years. I'm fortunate to have studied here in the United States at Harvard Law School, to have worked here in the United States, and to have visited Washington in good times and bad for the Labour Party in Britain, the Democrats here, in power, out of power. It's horrible being out of power.
Yes, it is.
You know, whatever political stripe. And I've returned to Washington on this occasion, and I think there's a sense of momentum after the midterms, with the success also of the Inflation Reduction Act. But of course, people are looking to the general election cycle in 2024. There will be obviously elections here in the US, but also elections in the UK. And I hope that there will be a progressive moment, because I hope that our leader, Keir Starmer, the Labour Party leader, will enter number 10. And I think he can do great things if Joe Biden remains in the White House.
You'll have to be joining us throughout that campaign. The Honourable David Lammy, Member of Parliament, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.